Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. Jacalyn. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. Jacalyn at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello and welcome everyone to USA Global TV, and hello to our friends listening on Business Talk Radio. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and our show is presenting Pet Psychic Aminah. Every week, this woman shows up delivering high quality content and bringing amazing guests. And it's our 50th show together. She is much more than a pet psychic. She is a trainer. She's a speaker. She's someone who leads with her heart and is an advocate about coexisting in this world with animals, with the environment, with community, all of us helping one another, caring for our planet and sustainability. Let's welcome Aminah to the program. Hello.
Thank you so much. Did I make the cat? The cat's good. The cat's good.
Yes, you're
a joke, everybody. Inside go. And thanks for that. How's Bob? How's Bob? Bob's good?
Bob is good. Bob is a spider. He's in the bathroom. And I have to tell you, Aminah, I mentioned this on the show yesterday. I forget which show it was. I looked up, and this is not Bob. This was a giant brown spider, giant. I'm not talking small, giant.
Okay.
And I just looked at it and I said, I beg of you, you are very large. Please stay away from me. And by the way, when I woke up this morning, he's gone, he or she. I don't know where they are. They're not with Bob, but I just think about what you tell me.
Well, Bob was lunch and they got enough protein to move on.
Could be, but I'm just thinking coexistence. That's what you tell me.
Absolutely. You put that love out there and you just hold them and say, hey, I've had more than 20 personal interludes with black widows. My first one was, I was 8.5, maybe 9 months pregnant. Hadn't had that kid yet. So I remember being very large. And I was sitting on a stoop where the little stairs, just getting some air. I didn't have patio in those days. And I got up and this ginormous black widow spider, and I wasn't as educated as I am now, but I just looked at her and I said, well, that was fun. Let's not do that again. Could you imagine? And I have always loved them, but it comes with education, just what you said, with me just encouraging everybody to say it's okay to be afraid. It's a safety thing, it's a protection thing, it's how you go and be afraid. Like what you said. You just say, hey, you stay there, I'll stay over here, and we can coexist. It's when you freak out and you feel that all lives don't matter and you just should kill them all or lock them all up that I have a problem with. And I'm going to own that completely, that there's a problem with thinking that we're the only ones on the planet that deserve to be here. And as they say, God doesn't make any mistakes, people or bugs.
I love that. Yes, that's it. It's a perspective that I think is in serious need in more ways than one. So
for the whole world.
Exactly. So Aminah, I know you brought a great guest. She's been to the program before, but before we bring her out, I'd love to just spotlight you and have you share a little bit about your work, not just as a pet psychic, but also all the other work that you do. And I know you have a special offer for our audience that I think is coming up to an end soon, or might have already.
Yeah, this week. Yeah. This week is the end. You're right. I completely forgot. So Pet Psychic is a great title and it's a great moniker, but I am so much more, I hope. I have spent my lifetime hearing what I hear and learning all about it because I wasn't brought up around anybody who had psychic abilities. It was quite a shock when I was told to go public only a few years ago. I worked with my own friends and family. But what it is just being in tune. So many people, they don't have to be psychic to understand that a plant needs water and a cat needs to be hugged, and a dog needs to be walked, and you shouldn't throw rocks at the squirrels, and that type of stuff. I have spent my life getting a college education and working in a vet clinic, so I would be up on medical techniques and that type of stuff. I was in the surgery so I could learn and work at the same time. And working with big cats, I'm talking about tigers, those are what I spent the most time with. And also, when I was very young, I was working with a lion, hated people, absolutely hated people, but I was the only female on the place, the compound that we worked. And he was able to tolerate me where he had had a bad experience being in captivity. And also the wolf was the same way. The wolf was as tall as I was pretty much and could have just walked off without my arm attached to the leash. A leash is a chain. But it's about respect, just what we were talking about as we started the show. So I hope what I impart on everybody is there's a kinder, nicer way to do things. You can disagree and we can be frustrated and all that, but don't let it consume you. And know that animals love unconditionally and deserve to be loved back the same way.
Always looking for that button, trying to find the button.
You make me feel better every day.
So Aminah, tell us a little bit about our guest today, Genevieve.
We have been, you have blessed me first and foremost, and I want to honor you again today. And I haven't in a while, so it's not too redundant because I don't want it to water down. But however you and I found each other and met and that type of stuff, I've been a public speaker my whole life. So everybody says, well, do you write it down? No, I'm an empath. So I feel from you, I feel from our audience. And I mean, it's not like I know who you are. Bob's on the left and Karen's on the right and Jenny's over here. No, what does it feel like everybody needs to hear today? That is just a God-given translation of this is what we're going to talk about. You bring up things that are important to you or somebody. Our guest does that. So these people that have blessed us with their time is the same with our guest today. The work she's doing, Genevieve is doing, is just such a blessing to put it out there in the world and say, thank you so much. And she's going to explain how she got involved. If you want to hear the beginning, because we're not going to go over the whole thing, please see our last year's episode with her, Feeding Pets of the Homeless. It is such a vital thing. If you are a pet owner, you know, and Jacalyn, you've lived this and lost when your pets passed, that they are our kids. They are our snuggles. They are the bad day. Let me put my face in your fur and just get it over with. I mean, it's all of those wonderful things. They don't judge. They don't care what you smell like. I know, I've been told what some of you smell like. and they just want to be loved and be a part of your life. What do you think if you had no home and no roof over your head and no hope for another meal? Maybe you'd get to a place that they'd be giving out food and that type of stuff. Please listen today and understand how you can help, because their companions are the pets. And you think, well, why are they feeding themselves instead of the pets? Because it's a symbiotic relationship. The pets needed a home, and this gentleman or lady or whoever needed a home, and they have found a home together. And Genevieve's really going to enlighten us on how we can participate with her program, or eventually we'll get into, I'm hoping she'll put up some short tips and that kind of stuff if you want to do it safely, because she's very, very much about the safety of everybody, pets, homeless, and yourself. So Genevieve, I'm so thrilled that you have made time, because I know how busy you are.
Let's welcome to the program Genevieve Frederick, founder and president of Feeding Pets of the Homeless.
Hi, Thank you. Hi. Oh, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be able to be on this show so that I can spread the word, so that people can understand that human animal bond that these homeless have with their pets. I sometimes get kind of emotional about it because I've been working with this program, these programs for 13 years when I first came up with this idea that I could feed pets across the country that belong to the homeless. And of course, because most of these people get their pet food from food banks, from wherever, it could be a soup kitchen, it could be all kinds of places that they're getting this food. But I'm here today to tell your audience how they can, as a volunteer with our nonprofit, how they can help pets in their community, even low-income pets, because all the food that goes through the food banks is also distributed to low-income families who have a dog that they would like to be able to feed it real food and not table scraps because it's not that healthy. So just to get started, I thought I would just let you know that this last year, we're starting to get our year-end numbers together. Our emergency veterinary care program, we have helped 890 pets. That means these pets have gone to a hospital and have been treated. We had over 1,100 invoices that we paid because we pay at time of service to all of our hospitals. And we have over 1,260 hospitals across the country. We're in all 50 states. People call us from all over the country and some into Canada as well. But let's talk about what you as a viewer can do to volunteer with our program. One of the easiest things to do is to go on our website and contact us. And I'm going to show you a flyer that we will mail to you. And then you can, I'll leave it up here for a little bit longer. Then you can post this at your church bulletin board. You can take it to the local library because a lot of homeless hang out at libraries because that's where they are getting onto the internet. That's where they're picking up emails. That's where they're going to use the restroom, to clean up a little bit, to get out of the cold or out of the heat, depending on the time of the year. So that is something that you can do as a volunteer, and it's easy. The other thing you can do, we have printed up these business cards, and these business cards are to be handed out to homeless on the streets or at a food bank or a soup kitchen, wherever the homeless are congregating and they have animals. We ship these to social workers, to police officers, first responders. They use these and they keep them in their wallet when they see somebody that's homeless and that person may need pet food or that pet may be injured or ill. This will give them the phone number that calls. We have, even though we don't work weekends, I have to let my staff go home at night. So we do have a answering service that is 24/7, all holidays, and we always return those calls on the next business day. Now we're on the West Coast, and a lot of our clients are calling us from Florida, from New York, from wherever they're calling us, and there is a time difference. So, we have to take that into consideration. But we can email, if you will email us using our contact on our website at www.petsofthehomeless.org, or you can just email us info@petsofthehomeless.org. Ask us for the business cards or the flyers, and we'll be happy to mail those to you so that you can spread the word to the homeless in your community. Now, if you want to do a little more, we have some great ideas for you. Please talk to your own veterinarian about helping us to become one of our network hospitals, so that if we should have to call you because there's an injured or ill pet in your community that needs our help, then they already know who we are. It's an easy transition. We call them, we give them a pre-authorization code to examine this pet, and then call us back once we get that appointment set up and let us know the prognosis and the treatment plan for that pet, whatever that might be, so that we are prepared to pay for that animal's needs. The other thing, when you're talking to the hospital manager, you might ask them if they would be interested in being a donation site. We're looking for donation sites in every city. That's where people can go to a business like a hospital, donate pet food, or at a pet food store, buy an extra bag of pet food, put it in a receptacle that will be taken to a local food bank, a soup kitchen, or a volunteer could actually take that pet food out to a homeless encampment. So another easy way to volunteer with us is to sign up for our newsletter on our website. The newsletter comes out every month, and on the website, there's back issues. So if you wanted to see what was going on last month or around Christmas time, you can see that. The newsletters are filled with information and at least 2 stories of pets that we have helped with photos of those pets. And then we ask you to forward those newsletters to your families and friends so that they know who we are and what we're doing it to help pets across the country. And of course, we can always use the funds that it takes to provide care for all of these pets. Just to give you an idea, last year, our 5 programs that we have, and I'll probably be going into more of each of those programs in later interviews. But today we're talking about volunteers. But the money that's coming in this year, 5 programs, it was over $827,000. So you can see, and that's just the program expenses. That's not all of our overhead, everything that is involved in running a business like this. Even though we're a nonprofit, I treat this as a business that we need to be very fiscally responsible for what our donors are giving to us. So you can donate funds on our website by a check, or you can even do a bill pay through your own bank account that comes directly to us. Another easy way is to become friends with us on Facebook. We have right now over 108,000 people that look at our posts, and they're about the dogs that we help, the cats that we help, the people we help, and then share those posts with your other friends that are on Facebook. We're on Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, and Facebook, and we're also on LinkedIn. So we ask you to get onto one of those, whatever you're more comfortable with, and share those that information with your friends and family. Something that we are asking people, our volunteers, to do, we just relaunched our website. It needed to be revamped. And so what we're asking people that want to volunteer with us to go onto the website, check those links to make sure they're going to where they need to go. Check to see if the locations on our interactive map are working correctly. So if you go onto our website and you type in your city, you're going to see how many donation sites, how many what we call pet food providers, then this is where the homeless are going to find where to get pet food. You're going to be able to find resources in that community. And you're also going to know if there is a homeless shelter that will allow that pet access to that building as with their owner. A lot of homeless that aren't allowed into homeless shelters don't go because their pets aren't allowed. And they're not going to take that pet to the animal shelter and maybe never see it again. So it's important. And that is one of our programs that we ship collapsible crates to homeless shelters so that homeless and their pets are allowed in. When you're on our website, if there's any suggestions that is going to make it easier for you as a user to get around it and see what we're doing, there's a lot of information on there, and we've tried to consolidate it a little bit more and to make it more concise and user-friendly. So any suggestions you have, please email us and let us know. If you have in your community a food bank that distributes pet food and they may not be on our website, please let us know, because this is where people are coming. We get about 17,000 people visiting our website a month, and they're looking for pet food. They're looking for a shelter that'll allow their pet. They're looking for resources. So it's important that our website has as much information as possible. So we're asking people to, if there isn't a food bank on the website, but you think that the food bank in your community may be distributing pet food, let us know so we can put it on there. We've had, because of COVID, we've had a lot of food banks calling us saying that their supply of pet food is running low, and we've had the opportunity to drop ship pet food to those. In fact, a lot of the Chewy customers have gifted us with gift cards, and we've used those gift cards to drop ship pet food at various food banks that have gotten in touch with us and said, we're running out of pet food. Can you help us? And yes, we will. And so that's another way you can help. If you're a Chewy customer, get an extra gift card and have it shipped to us. All of our information is on the website, our address, so it's easy, and Chewy knows who we are, so you can identify us as a nonprofit that you would like to support. When we talk about pet food suppliers, they're homeless shelters, there's soup kitchens, like I said, the encampments, Salvation Army across the country, and Catholic Charities are all collaborating with us. And we, in the aspect of not only giving people pet food, but letting them know that if their animal's injured or ill, that they can call us directly. To give you an idea of how busy we've been this year, our 3 case managers that are full-time, they have taken over 11,000 phone calls and called and taken that many phone calls just this year. So as you can see, we're extremely busy, but we always are recruiting more donation sites. They are businesses that you might have a relationship with, or you know the manager personally. Ask them, hey, how about being a donation site for Pets of the Homeless? And if you want to be more engaged, you can go once a month, pick up that pet food, count it, weigh it, and let us know how much you were able to get out of that donation site and where you're going to take it. And I can tell you that since we started this program, donation sites have reported back to us that they have taken 804 tons of pet food and supplies to food banks across the country. And we put a fair market value on all that food, and that comes to over $3.4 million. And that just is so rewarding to know.
Wow.
And when you're a volunteer and you take that pet food to the Salvation Army, and they are so happy to see you, and there may be people standing around waiting for the next meal that they're going to get out of that soup kitchen, and you pull up with a whole carload full of pet food. It is just so heartwarming. There's so many benefits for businesses to be a donation site. We help market that business as a donation site, and we send out press releases to that community. It's just a way of giving back to the community, because there's a lot of people out there that aren't willing to drive to a food bank or to a soup kitchen or to a homeless shelter. But if it's convenient for them and they're already going to that business, they'll just bring a couple cans of cat food or dog food or bags of dry food, kibble, and they know that it's going to end up in the right place. And that was one of the reasons that I started this whole thing, is I wanted to be able to make it convenient for the donor and then make the business feel like they're giving back to their community. So I want to take questions. If anybody has any, I would love to answer. What does it mean to be a volunteer? You can sign up. You can do the things that I outlined, or you can sign up and we will give you a whole kit that you can take out to businesses and recruit a couple of donation sites in your community, and let us know who they are and how. We'll give you this kit that tells you every step to take, and it's quite impressive, really. But if you want to be more involved, like I said, sign up on our website.
Wow, Genevieve, you're doing amazing work. And I just am so impressed with those numbers that you shared. From a personal perspective, I wanted to let you know, when you were here last, I remembered what you said about donating food. And I moved a couple of months ago. We had a whole freezer full of food and pantry filled with food. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool if I could donate? And I didn't have dog food or cat food per se, but I called around. I thought, I'm going to actually donate all of this food. And it wasn't that easy getting it all together because there was a lot of food. And long story short, I called around and places are like, no, we don't want that. We only want this. So I finally found a place, and it was not that far from where I lived, but there were a lot of homeless people, and I had no idea. And when I pulled up, there was a whole group of people waiting outside for food. And I just started to cry because we don't even realize it, like right there, like 2 miles or 3 miles from where I live. And they were so excited. And I want to thank you because you inspired me to do that.
Oh, that's great. Great. A lot of our donation sites will take opened bags of pet food, tape it closed, and they will accept that. A lot of times an animal will pass on and an owner will have leftover bed, collars, leashes, pet food, treats, toys. Our donation sites will accept all of that, and they will take it over to, there's nothing wrong with a used leash or collar, and a lot of homeless do not have either one of those. I've seen them walking on the streets without a leash or collar, or with a belt around the dog's neck or a rope around. And when we are at sponsoring wellness clinics, we see a lot of those types of situations. So when you're at the dollar store, get an extra leash and collar and take it to a donation site. Those are important things. We have manufacturers that ship us a box of coats, and we make sure that those go to a part of the country that maybe having snow, or so, all of that stuff. If it gets delivered here, we make sure that it gets out to where it needs to go. But if you can take those items to a local food bank, they will be appreciative of it, I know.
Absolutely. And I know, having worked around this issue before, in the homeless community, we would collect, a couple of the organizations I worked with were the most valuable for the human was socks.
Yes.
Clean, dry socks. We have one gentleman at one of the organizations I belong to, and we had a sock hop. I actually sponsored a dance.
Yeah.
We called it a sock hop, and we were literally the ticket to get in. You had to bring a dozen socks. And of course, for them, if they're all in new packages, because the worst part is they're wet and they're cold and they get ruined and all that. So we need to go back to basics when we're thinking pets. Also, is that dry food really can matter. And you can, even if it's a Ziploc bag or an extra Rubbermaid container from the dollar store, those containers with the food in it is just as valuable. So don't think, just listen to what, Genevieve has said. When you guys are thinking about it, go through the cupboard. I don't know about you, when I move, I downsize every time, and some reason I upsize every time I move in. But you know what I mean? It's just like, okay, it's time to get rid of that. But for a person who's homeless and their pets, let's say you give them soft food, but they don't have a spoon, or they're using their finger. I carried silverware from the dollar store, from before it was a dollar store. It was the Goodwill and that kind of stuff. Don't ever think, if it's in good condition, and Genevieve, I want your input. If it's in good condition, please donate it, because a shovel, a little child shovel, is what I'm in my head. Again, dollar store, I love it. I don't care if it's $1.25 now. I'm going to still say $1 because it's shorter. But think about just those little shovels and how nice that would be to pick up the poop instead of putting it behind. Because what you're going to get from me personally is, it is not biodegradable. So don't leave it there, please. And people think, oh, it's just going to go into the earth. No. Hey, did you read the ingredients on the food? There's nothing in English. It's all mishmash Spanish and French and German all in one word. So if you can't understand the bottle or the bag or the can, they can't poop on the ground. Don't do it.
You brought up a good point. A lot of times people will donate 50 pounds of dog food. Then we take it to, or it's taken to, a food bank. The food bank then breaks it down into Ziploc bags, because a homeless person isn't going to walk around with 25 pounds of pet food or 15 pounds of cat food. It's got to be broken down. So a lot of the food banks that get food from the federal government, they have to keep that pet food in a completely separate part of the building, and it can't be close to the human food. So they'll put a label on it that says not for human consumption. And then I always ask them, please use this as a poop bag after your dog eats food.
Exactly. Because you and I know that it's two uses. I mean, my family thinks I'm a garbage hoarder, because I love clean cat boxes. Because my theory is we don't wear shoes in the house. So if the cat is getting in the box, going potty, and then covering, and then coming out and walking in my house, what is the difference if I wear shoes? Because it's the same gross stuff. And sadly, we have lots of people where I live and don't pick up after their dogs, and it's in the bushes and you step in it. And don't even get me started with those dog owners.
Yeah.
But you have to think about the consequences. Wait a minute, what is this step? What is this step? What is this step? So I keep all the old cereal bag liners, the plastic. So after you eat the cereal, the bag, I keep those. My daughter loves buying biodegradable bags for cat poop. Well, great. You're a billionaire. You go ahead. I'm not. And I'm cheap, and I've been cheap my whole life. And I also know, what are we going to do with the bag? Just throw it in the trash. So why wouldn't I fill it with poop and then I just throw it in the trash? And my daughter still thinks I'm weird. You know the carrot bag with the little Ziploc? Those are my favorite because they zip it closed until it's full. So
Yeah.
I keep the little. I am truly weird, Jacalyn. If you didn't know this, I'm telling you. So
All right, I'm listening.
You have no idea. But you keep the little bread ties, and you tie up those little bags, and off you go. Twist ties are a pain in the butt because they eventually lose the paper. But you know what I mean? We have so much garbage in our lives that you can just leave it as garbage and use it with a little more garbage.
Right.
When you get rid of the green vegetables that you had to peel, carrots or celery or something. There are ways to not create more garbage. And what Genevieve hit on is so important for people to hear. Think about it. If you eat a lot of cereal, then you're going to have a lot of bags. Guess what? You could just donate them. Wouldn't that be great for poop picking up, keeping the food? Ziploc would be better for that. But you know what I mean? I'd rather have something to stay dry and ant free and bug free and have a little twist tie on it, or just twist it up myself, than have nothing.
Genevieve, what are your thoughts?
Well, I'm trying to figure out how we got into the subject of poop, but
because food and then you poop. You eat food and it's a chain reaction. Do you want me to go through the science? It goes this way.
No, it's okay.
I know you took that class.
Oh gosh, I just want people out there. You don't have to do a lot to volunteer with us. It could be easy, or you can make it. We have some volunteers that spend 20 hours a month helping us by going to different donation sites within their community, their area, picking up all that pet food, and then they deliver it to more than just one place that's going to distribute it. So they put in a lot of hours helping us to do this because they see the benefit in their community. Another thing that when you're talking to your own doctor and you're talking about how they can help pets of the homeless by treating the animals that we will send to them and letting them know that we pay at time of service. So this is they're in business. I don't expect them to do this pro bono. Of course not. And that's why we have over 1,200 hospitals, because a lot of them are in areas where there's a big concentration of homeless. And so they are more than happy to help because they know they're going to get paid. And they give us deep discounts, on top of whatever. To give you an idea, last year, just in veterinary care that we have paid to hospitals, it was over $525,000. That's $500,000 that we paid to hospitals across the country. And that was after their discounts. And their discounts were up to almost $70,000 that they discounted that particular invoice for whatever the treatment was for that animal. Now I lost my train of thought. Oh, I know what it was. I wanted you to also, if you're in a community where there's a lot of homeless and a lot of low income, we will sponsor a wellness clinic. So if you can get that doctor to say, yeah, I'd like to do that, we'll pay the hard costs. We're not going to pay his salary or his vet techs. We'll help him get volunteers to help run the whole thing. We've got guidelines that we've done this so many times that we know how the procedure goes. We've been to wellness clinics where we've had 2 vets see 90 pets in 4 hours. That's a lot. They've done a basic exam. They gave the vaccinations. They trimmed the toenails. If there were mats, they, shaved those off and gave them the paperwork so that they could identify, say if they could get into a shelter, yeah, my dog's been vaccinated. And during a wellness clinic, if the doctor during that exam finds something that's not quite right, that needs maybe some blood work or an x-ray or a a rotten tooth that needs to be pulled, that's causing the animal is not eating correctly and not drinking, um, that vet can then call us, and then that becomes an emergency case. We work with a lot of docs, veterans, veterinarians that are working on the streets. There's one called the Street Vet. He's in California. There's another one called the Street, um, the Street. Oh my goodness, I'm losing it. It's a coalition, and these are all volunteer veterinarians that go in communities, and they have a calendar on their website. It's on our website if anybody wants to see, where what they're doing and where they're at that moment. But they actually treat these pets on the streets because that's where they are. But if somebody wants to do a wellness clinic at a food bank or at a homeless encampment, and it's a matter of driving up in an SUV, opening up the back, pulling out a stethoscope and the rabies shots and having those certificates there and giving those animals those vaccinations. It is so rewarding. Some of these pets have never been to a clinic or a hospital, and it is so important that we make sure that these pets are vaccinated because they're on our streets in these communities, and you don't want parvo, you don't want that whole thing to open up in a community, and you don't want a dog to accidentally bite somebody that has never had a rabies shot. Then animal control and the police get involved, and it's not a good thing. So when we have wellness clinics, we usually open it up to the first 100 pets, and it's usually 4 hours, and we usually see between 80 and 90 pets in that 4-hour period. It is so rewarding to the volunteers that are there, the doctors and the vets, the techs, to see the gratitude of these people when they know that a real doctor is examining my dog that maybe is not feeling well, and I don't have the money to go to get a wellness check. So it's a good program, and I'm happy to sponsor these across the country. In these wellness clinics, the last few years, not so much because of COVID. And it's been, the doctors are having a hard time keeping up with their practice, let alone donating time to go out somewhere and do these. But we're hoping that at the end of the pandemic, we can start sponsoring these again. But while we've been doing this, we've seen these wellness clinics have seen over 17,000 pets. Some of them, and we leave it up to the veterinarian and his staff. Do you want this to be just for homeless? Do you want this to be just for homeless and low income? Do they have to prove it? When we do one in my community, we open it up. If you want to stand in line for the 4 hours to get your dog a free checkup and free vaccinations, I'm happy to do that. And our staff loves it.
Yeah. Genevieve, you've given us just a plethora of stuff and so much. So please, everybody, she is back with us February 18th. And if you didn't know that, it's on my calendar, so it's real because I said it out loud. And we'll get that with Dr. Jacalyn. Dr. Jacalyn, thank you for giving me 2 seconds. Genevieve, I want to offer you something for your organization because, as you know, I work with pets, maybe. And I am a trainer, besides all my gifts that God's given me and that type of stuff. And if you ever want a trainer out on site, so while people are waiting in line to get medical treatment, these are things that I can help them with behavior issues, like how to get them to sit, how to get them to stay, how's the best way to put on a leash and a collar. My experience is very limited, especially compared to yours, with the homeless community. But having worked in the parks and having to deal with that issue there, we had to really soft shoe it and make sure we were respectful of that. This was home for a lot of people, but I saw the pets. And I'm sure, just like everybody in their household goes crazy when their pet won't do blah, 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 and I can help with that. And I would more than love to donate my time. You call me, let me know. I don't do many long drives and that type of stuff, but I can come out wearing masks, got all my vaccines, all that kind of stuff, and help out any way I can, because a good relationship starts with a little bit of discipline and a lot of education, so people know that they're maybe not doing it right and there is a better way to communicate, because every animal is as different as every person.
True. I mean, I've been at wellness clinics. It's called Homeless Connect. And Catholic Charities puts it on in various communities. Sometimes another entity will, and they organize it, and they bring in all the nonprofits that help homeless people. And we've always gone to the one in Reno, Nevada, and brought our veterinarian and our staff and our volunteers. And we always bring in a lot of crates, so that once the exam's over and they're done with us, but now they want to go inside the building where they can get other services. Right. Then we will kind of set up a daycare for their pets.
Right.
And the volunteers love it, because now they're cuddling these dogs and talking to them. Of course, it's chaotic because they're barking and where's my mom? Where's my dad? Blah, 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 blah. But
I don't know you.
It's so rewarding. I have a great story, if we have time, about.
We don't
have time.
You have to wait till you have to leave February 18th. She has a great story. Don't forget, because we will.
Okay. All right.
Just think of us, and we're gonna really get this. Hopefully, Genevieve, you'll think about putting something together in writing, and we can post that. I'd love to put it up on my website. I'd love to have that information, and we can share that with the audience while you're talking, so they really have something they could download and say for themselves. Okay? So that's for next time, February 18th, same bat station, same bat time. Genevieve, blessings, huge blessings to you every single day, and Dr. Jacalyn, the same, for all that you do. And I've just been thrilled to hang out with all my other co-hosts in the last couple of weeks. This is wonderful. Thank you. I'm so glad.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Great. See you February.
See you February, Genevieve. Have a great weekend.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. And Aminah, let me put up your banner. Please let our audience know how they can reach you and what services that you provide.
bridgingworld.us. So if you haven't figured it out, I bridge the world, and that's between any pet. I have one client that just does snakes, and it's a very short conversation, but I also know a great deal about snakes, even how to be bit carefully and walk away. So I'm here to help you do the adoption, decide if it's the end of life. I do a lot of conversations with the end of life. I do talk to pets that have passed. It is also part of my gifts, people that have passed also. And I want you to have peace and love and kindness surrounding you. And sometimes that needs a conversation with somebody who can give you insight and or help. And I can give you the tools on the ground with my education and with the knowledge that is God given. So thank you. bridgingworld.us.
Thank you so much, Aminah. In celebrating 50 shows with you, I look forward to the next
Can't
500.
believe it. Wow.
Yeah, I know.
That's
That's so
amazing.
cool.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a wonderful weekend.
You too. You too.
Thanks.
Take care.
You too. Bye-bye. Well, folks, that rounds out our week here at USA Global TV and Business Talk Radio. It's been quite a week. If you're just joining us, we had our launch party, the official launch of USA Global TV on January the 10th. We have an outstanding team of co-hosts. We also have our team of talking heads who are expert presenters, and our team of elevated listeners who are people who have invested their time and money to learn how to become authentic listeners. A promo that I have for myself, why not, since I have this platform, I have a fitness course that I am starting tomorrow. I'm offering this to everyone. In case you didn't know, in addition to having this platform and this company, USA Global TV LLC, I also have Dr. Jacalyn LLC, which is my coaching, my listening mentor courses, and also my physical fitness courses. So starting tomorrow, there I am, I will be offering my program, which is 60 minutes for you. And it's all about fitness and opening your heart. So regardless of where you are in your fitness journey, you can join me tomorrow. I've heard people say, I don't know, I don't have any weights. It doesn't matter about the weights. I'm not sure if I can do a push-up. It doesn't matter if you can do a push-up. If you have an open mind and you want to open your heart, please do join me. We will have meditation, yoga, light weights. If you don't have any light weights, you can just use soup cans, water bottles, or your own body weight, and cardio, which can be walking in place. I'm going to show you options, modifications for everything. It's every Saturday at 8 a.m. PST, 10 a.m. CST, 11 a.m. EST, 4 p.m. GMT, EIEIO. Okay, 60 minutes for yourself. Go ahead and book your ticket over on my website, drjacalyn.com/book your session. If you book today, you can use the promo code FRIEND, all capital letters, and you'll get a very nice discount. All right, that's all I have for you now. Thank you to Aminah. Thank you to Genevieve. Thank you to you for watching, whether you're on the live or the replay. Please do go over to our website, USA Global TV, and you can watch all of our shows there. Thanks again. Take care. See you next week.